Hey all, we are back with another video. I would like to apologize for not streaming. I have been sick. So I wanted to wait till I'm still sick, but I just wanted to wait till I was a bit more better 7 days ago. God, it's been a while. I do apologize again.
Pardon me.
Oh, come on, mate.
Ah. So basically, I think we're gonna do our first assassination. I think.
All the news you need. Today's Boston Weekly Advertiser.
Hang on. This button? No, this button. Yes.
For the start.
I definitely waited till... Come on. Shit. Shit. There we go. Fuck! Okay.
For the widest.
Hidden Blade is so much easier. Oh!
The Boston Weekly Advertiser, a penny to stay informed. Notice is hereby given in future, none shall be admitted to see the new manufacturing, lest they pay 1 shilling in lawful money. The deadline to unload the tea will soon arrive, and I say we must not lose it. Leave the tea to rot aboard these foul ships. The East India Company is not our master. The Boston Weekly Advertiser, a penny to stay informed.
Okay. How do I crouch again? Man. Something. So how am I... Come on.
I'm not looking for any trouble. Leave me be. I've got to get away. Maybe you'll mind.
How do I destroy them? Ah, there we go. Yeah, fucking... Had it perfectly planned too. Let me just loot these real quick. Okay. Now we stand back. And we destroy that one. That was fun. Intercept smugglers and destroy. Oh, yeah. So, you. Get out of the way. Yeah, come on. Come on. I fucking love the chase music. Aha. They raided you! No, get out. They're gonna search that. Asshole. See ya! Whee! Run, 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 run. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Come on. Damn it. Okay, you know what? Fuck this. Water. Okay, cool. Just so I know where it is and how far it is.
The Millpond Bridge has been declared unsafe and should be obviated from your itineraries
I know.
Stefan, what is wrong? Where is Sam Adams?
Who cares? I've been robbed! Oh, ils vont me le payer, ces scélérats de merde!
Where are you going?
To get back what's rightfully mine. Oh! Regardez! Some pathetic redcoats waiting for a beating! I will match your face to your jacket, crapule! Ces coquins me prennent mon père au Canada et voilà qu'ils me ravissent ma propriété ici. Il suffit. We are not English! We are not the king's men! We are free! But the king sends these redcoats to push us around! They are not our masters! This is our city! Let's show them who owns it! It's time to fight!
Stefan, please! Stop and listen to me!
I've listened for long enough. They come into my home and take my things? I will get my revenge. The man responsible for this will pay. His friends will pay. Voilà trop longtemps que je subis ces affronts. Ils vont goûter de mon courroux. You looking for a fight, Englishman? I'll give you what you want. Hey, redcoats! Your king! la nouvelle demeure.
Injustice, but this is not it.
This isn't it.
I will match your face to your jacket, crapule!
Destroyed? You stupid mongrel! I suppose you want me to tell Johnson his tea just spontaneously combusted? Nonsense. Someone's responsible for this, and you will find out who. And if you can't, I'll gut you and find a smarter mongrel who can.
What do we do? Create a window.
Bloody hell are you?
Why?
You have no right to rob people blind. By decree of the British Parliament or not.
British Parliament? I work for William Johnson. Please.
Wow.
The people seem to have an ear for you. What are the things you lost?
The people listen to me only because I spoke the truth loud enough. Which is worth 1,000 times the content of my footlocker. The English, they can keep my teams.
You did well tonight.
I said I'd buy you an ale when you first helped me. In place of drink, I offer you my allegiance. For what it's worth.
Your aid is welcome, and I am grateful. Now, I need to find Sam Adams.
Well. In addition to treaty negotiations, Johnson was in charge of recruiting and leading Iroquois fighters during the French and Indian War. He only fought in one battle, but he was rewarded handsomely for his service. £5,000 and a baronetcy, or however you say that word. And that was a little above average for most people involved in the battle. He continued his close ties with Carney, and in 1760s they gave him land totaling more than 300 square kilometers as a thanks for his work. However, Johnson burned some bridges in 1768 when he negotiated the Treaty of Fort Stanwix. He took much more land than the British had asked for, a windfall for him, since he could then speculate on it, but rather a tough sell to the indigenous natives who lived on the land. The treaty caused a war in Virginia, known as Dunmore's War. In an effort to stop more bloodshed and possibly to cover his own ass, Johnson called for more negotiation, this time at Johnson Hall in 1774. William Molyneux, born 1717. Molyneux doesn't usually make the list of well-known revolutionaries, mostly because he didn't live to see the outbreak of the revolution. He died in 1774. He was, however, one of the major Whig agitators in the years before the war started. Right up there with Samuel Adams and John Hancock. Molyneux was a British-born merchant and supporter of the Patriot cause. As far as revolutionaries go, that makes him a bit of an outliner. British-born colonists tend to be loyalists. He was Anglican as well, and those congregations were decidedly British-leaning. However, you couldn't doubt Molyneux's devotion to the cause. He was known for being something of a hothead. So much so that he threatened people with death when the violated boycotts on British goods. Seems a bit extreme. He'd have a bloody field day on forums. On the night of the Boston Tea Party, Molyneux disappeared from the crowd outside the Old South Meeting House, though almost every other well-known revolutionary leader was there, still talking to the crowd. Molyneux was, of course, supervising the dumping of the tea. For this reason alone, I am prepared to call him the most evil man in history. Just seeing if there's any more. No? Stephen Chapenhue, born 1743. Stephen is a Boston militiaman and served as a cook in the years leading up to the Revolution. Chapenhue was born in what's now Canada, near modern-day Montreal. His father was a cook for the French army who was killed in fighting at the Plains of Abraham. After his death, Chapenhue took on work as a chef in Montreal but moved to Boston in 1764. While his personal letters indicate he was looking for a less complicated life, he was just in time for the unrest that preceded the revolution. Unfortunately for Chapenhue, he didn't actually want a quiet life, and as it happened, the tension in pre-revolution Boston suited him exactly. Which is weird, because who enjoys tensions? I mean, depends on what kind of tension it is. Apart from a scientist studying surface tension as an effect of intermolecular attraction. Give me a minute to stop laughing. Chapenhue was a man in search of a cause, and he found it in the Patriots. He was an enthusiastic supporter of the Sons of Liberty, participating in their 1765 protests surrounding the Stamp Act. He was present when the crowds ransacked Governor Hutchinson's house in 1765, probably egging on the mob. He was also one of the crowd that witnessed and partially caused the Boston Massacre. Chapenhue didn't limit himself to protests. I have several fines for him on the books in the 1760s and 70s for public drunkenness and brawling. It seemed he couldn't keep out of a fight when the opportunity arose. And in pre-revolution Boston, there was always an opportunity. It was a wonderful time to be an angry drunk. The world was your oyster. Tea Act. Date passed 1773. The Tea Act passed in 1773. It was an attempt by the British government to prop up the British East Indian Company by allowing it to ship tea to the colonies directly from India, without having it go through Britain first. This made the tea much less expensive, even cheaper than the tea the colonists were smuggling from Dutch to avoid paying British taxes. The problem was that even with the cheaper prices, the British government was still collecting tax on the tea, meaning buying the tea would run counter to the colonial no taxation without representation stance. The move was seen as, and probably was, Parliament's sneaky attempt to get the colonies to unconsciously agree to one tax in the hope of implementing others. The colonists didn't fall for it. An attempt to force the unloading of East Indian tea in Boston caused the Boston Tea Party, perhaps the worst tea party of all time. It wasn't even created. You people are savages. McAneal's Rope Yard. These buildings were used to make rope for ship rigging. Please try and stay awake. Ships at the time needed a surprising amount of rope, up to 20 miles of the stuff each, which you'll realize is incredible if you're a rope nerd. Ahem. This wake you up. Rope isn't the real reason this place is well known, among historians, I mean. In March of 1770, one of the workers here asked a passing British soldier if he wanted a job, then told him to go clean my shithouse. The soldier was so offended that he started a fight. Then he left, came back with several of his friends and started a full-on brawl. The one insult led to days of fighting between soldiers and rope workers, leading right up to the Boston Massacre. The relationship between the British and Bostonians at the time was a little tense, to say the least. History does not reveal if that worker ever had his shithouse cleaned, but it seems unlikely. Old Corner Bookstore. It's an apothecary shop at the moment, but in a few decades this building will be home to Ticknor and Fields, the leading American publisher of their day. That might sound a bit dull, but this building will be at the center of American literature and thinking. Authors like Henry Woodson, Longfellow, Nathan Harthoe, Harriet Beecher Stowe, even Charles Dickens will all meet here. Of course, given the state of American education, it's possible you don't know any of those people, and it's possible you don't know who any of those people are. I know Charles Dickens. That's the only one I know. It could have said Minty Clitheroe and Pippi Boom Boom, and you'd still have looked impressed. Hey, any more? No? We're done? Good. Oh, now I have to go all the way back. So, with the getting the recruits and stuff, it's just like at Series 1.
I hear they were all sending 3 ships back, cargo and all.
Aye, but Governor Hutchison refuses to let them leave. Wants us to take the tea, pay the duties, and say thank you kindly to the king.
The king can kindly kiss my arse.
You'd like that, wouldn't you?
You can kiss it as well.
Enough! What hope have we of resisting if we're arguing amongst ourselves?
If Adams keeps giving these speeches, he's apt to end up in stocks. They wouldn't dare. I've seen men punished for...
What happens now? We wait for the signal. What signal?
This meeting can do nothing further to save the country.
That one.
Evening, gentlemen. Shall we be off?
No.
What's the matter?
I have spent today drawn from one bit of madness to another with nothing to show for it. Before I go any further, I would like to know exactly what it is you intend.
Of course. First, we make our way to Nathaniel Bradley's house to fetch the rest of our little group. Then it's on to Griffin's Wharf, where we board the ships and dump the tea. Simple as that.
Simple seems a bit charitable.
Cheer up,
Hannah.
Connor. For tonight, we are all victors. The Sons of Liberty get to send a message to England, and you robbed William Johnson of his financing. Your village will be saved. I've an idea. Why don't you lead the way? That should keep us out of any further trouble. Am I right?
But I don't know where the fuck to go.
Damn it, more guards.
We need to turn the crowd's anger to our advantage.
Say the word, Connor, and I will make it so.
Do it. How do I... hang on. It doesn't tell me the option. Okay. Wait. Oh! I love how none of them are focusing on me. Now they are. That's not really good. Okay. Good. Some garlic bread.
We need to keep those bastards at bay while the tea's being dumped.
Let me help. I'm yours to command.
Yeah. I'm back. Oh. Boston Tea Party. Date December 16, 1773. This was one of the key events leading up to the American Revolution. Protesters, some dressed in Fox Navy garb, boarded 3 ships docked in Boston Harbor and threw their cargoes of tea overboard in protest to British taxes. Throwing tea into a harbor potentially broke a world record for making the biggest cup of tea ever. Though if there is one statement guaranteed to rile a Briton, it is the unnecessary waste of perfectly good tea. So simple enough, but the lead-up is a bit more complex. The East Indian Company actually wanted to sell the tea to all of the colonies at a cut rate to boost its flagging profits. However, taxes on the tea would have been paid to the British the instant the tea was unloaded in Boston Harbor, and the colonists had a long-standing problem with paying taxes to Britain when they had no representatives in British Parliament. Offering discount tea while still collecting the tax on it was viewed by the colonists as a trick to get them to agree to the Parliament's authority over them. Protesters turned back ships carrying tea to New York and Philadelphia, and if that had happened in Boston, the problem would have been solved. Unfortunately, the governor of Boston wouldn't let the tea ships leave once they were in the harbor. I guess he figured the public would come round eventually and just pay the tax, because everyone likes a bargain. But that never happened. In fact, protests got bigger and bigger until a meeting at the Old South Meeting House. A mob broke away from the crowd there and dumped the tea, solving the impasse and wasting the tea. I shrugged as I wrote that. The British reacted to the protest by sending British troops under Thomas Gage to occupy the town. They also closed the Boston Harbor, part of several laws they created to punish the colonists that were dubbed the Coercive Acts. Of course, these laws didn't gain them any sympathy with the colonists and led fairly directly to the outbreak of the Revolution. Tea is important business. What am I doing? What? Oh! No. Okay. I don't know what the fuck was I doing. Oops. You okay? Okay. There you go. The frontier. Am I even going the right way? And I'll just cheat and fast travel, Freya. I just did a loop. Oh no, I am slowly going down. That's a bear.
It is done.
Johnson is dead?
No. He retreated when we destroyed the tea.
Only to hatch some new scheme, I'm sure. You should have killed him.
There was no need.
Time will tell if you speak the truth.
Radun Hagedum! Radun Hagedum! Ganandokon.
You should have heeded my warning.
Please. You have to stop him.
Of course. Can you tell me where they're meeting?
Oh, it was up there.
Izzy not gonna daradit ganusad in Johnson's unja the rocksta. Guahigans what neganun haradun hagedum.
The Guader Hardat Guacanto.
Thank you. Garlic bread goes there. One goes there. Okay. I have to go that way. Alright. Oh! The hell? Oh. I don't care anymore.
We are all too aware of the expeditions your people send against us.
What do you mean, mine?
This is a mistake. We should sign.
Peace! Peace! Have I not always been an advocate? Have I not always sought to protect you from harm? If you wish to protect us, then give us arms, muskets and horses that we might defend ourselves. War is not the answer. We remember, Stanwix. We remember you moved the borders. Even today your men dig up the land, showing no regard for those who live upon it. Your words are honeyed, but false. We are not here to negotiate, nor to sell. We are here to tell you and yours to leave these lands. So be it. I offered you an olive branch, and you knocked it from my hand. Perhaps you'll respond better to the sword.
Are you threatening us?
Yes. Ah! Thought you might send one of your own. Ah! Thought you might send one of your own to oppose me? Then I'm ready. You'll now learn. Call off your dog, or everyone dies!
I gotcha, I gotcha.
Oh no. What have you done?
Ensured an end to your schemes. You sought to claim these lands for the Templars.
Aye, that we might protect them. Do you think that good King George lies awake at night, hoping that no harm comes to his native subjects? Or that the people of the city care one whit about them? Oh, sure. The colonists are happy to trade when they need food or shelter, or a bit of extra padding for their armies. But when the walls of the city constrict, when there's crops that need soil, when there's no more enemy to fight, We'll see how kind the people are then.
The colonists have no quarrel with the Iroquois.
Not yet, but they will. 'Tis the way of the world. In time, they'll turn. I could have stopped it. I could have saved you all.
You speak of salvation, but you were killing them.
Aye, because they would not listen. And so, it seems, neither will you.
Ayawas ne yate hagum sare am dahyayum ne skanas izagum haje.
William Johnson is dead, and with him, the Templar plot to steal the land of my people. But in ending this threat, I have revealed another. On his body was a letter addressed to John Pitcairn containing orders to root out and destroy Patriot weapons and supplies. Should he succeed in this, the colonists will be unable to maintain their resistance, and the Templars will surely take control. So long as Pitcairn lives, the danger remains. I need to find him. He needs to die. I thought it might bring clarity or instill a sense of accomplishment, but all I feel is regret.
Hold fast to that. Such sacrifices must never come lightly.
I had to do it. Not only for my people, but for all the others Johnson would have harmed.
It's a start. But to truly be free of Templar influence, all of them must be dealt with in turn. Even your father.
I know.
You speak the words, but do you believe them? Seems we've company.
What is it?
A request for aid from Paul Revere. Seems the Redcoats are up to something in Boston. Guess you made an impression on the Sons of Liberty.
They mistake me for one of their own. Please tell Mr. Revere he has my sympathies, but I cannot help at present.
You might wish to reconsider. John Pitcairn is mentioned by name.
Where am I to go?
Mr. Revere's house in Boston. If you'd like, I can...
I can't believe we got poison darts and now just have to figure out how to frickin' make them. Also, my microphone will be muted because I am eating garlic bread.
came. Allow me to introduce you to William Dawes and Robert Newman.
Your letter said John Pitcairn was here.
Aye. He's readying an assault on Lexington, where Adams and Hancock have taken shelter. After that, he will march on Concord, hoping to destroy our weapons and supplies. You must help us.
Only tell me where to find him, and I will put a stop to this.
He has dozens, if not hundreds, of soldiers at his command. You cannot hope to match him by yourself. But fear not, for you will not have to. We have an entire army of our own, merely awaiting the order to take up arms.
Then you must call upon them.
Indeed. You and I will cross the Charles River and rouse the boys. William, I need you to take the overland route and do the same. Robert, I need you up in Christchurch. Light the signal. 2 lanterns, our enemy comes by sea. No time for dawdling, my friend. We have lives to save. Come on. They've only left a single horse. We'll have to ride together. You take the reins, I'll navigate. Quickly, Connor, get on the horse! I'll guide you towards those we need to alert. Follow my...
Pardon me. Yeah. That's the ride. Paul Revere's Ride. Date April 18th to 19th, 1775. On the night before the battles of Lexington and Concord, Paul Revere and William Dawes left Boston to warn the countryside that the British regulars were on the march. In particular, they wanted to warn John Hancock and Samuel Adams that the regulars intended to arrest them. Revere left Boston by boat across the Charles River, taking the road across the Charlestown Peninsula. Dawes took the longer land route across Boston's Neck. Revere arrived in Lexington first, but Dawes wasn't far behind. Once they delivered their warning to Hancock and Adams in Lexington, Dawes and Revere decided to continue to Concord to warn people there of the coming raid. They joined up with Samuel Prescott, who was visiting his fiancée in Lexington. Prescott lived in Concord, so knew the area well. Road trip! The 3 men were halfway to Concord when they were stopped by a British patrol. Revere was captured, but Dawes and Prescott broke away. Dawes lost his horse and hid in a barn for several hours before sneaking back to Lexington, but Prescott reached Concord to sound the alarm. Good thing they had him tagged along. Years later, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow would write a poem about the event, which rolled all the riders into one. Paul Revere, which is why everyone knows his name and why Revere is so revered. Robert Newman. Born 1752. Robert Newman was the sexton of Christ Church, known today as the Old North Church, and a personal friend of Paul Revere's. It was Newman who hung the lanterns from church steeple to warn riders in Charleston that the British were marching on Lexington and Concord. 2 lanterns, including that the British were travelling by sea. And because it's a pet peeve of mine, you may have heard that Newman put up the lanterns to warn Revere about the British approach. It's one of those historical details everyone seems to get wrong. Revere already knew about the raid, and in fact had been the one to pass the knowledge on to Newman. The lanterns were meant as a warning to look out in Charleston, a backup in case Revere was caught before he managed to leave town. Please learn this so you can impress girls on first dates, as I do. Though they often seem so overwhelmed by it, they rarely call again. That's the power of knowledge, and it's dangerous. Newman had some difficulty with his clandestine plan, though. His family was serving as a boarding house, and several British officers were staying there. Newman managed to elude them by saying he was tired, going to bed, and escaped out a side window, like something out of a cartoon. His friend, John Pulling, helped him get the lanterns and fled Boston. When Newman returned to the city, he went back to his old job as church sexton. There's evidence he took money to show tourists around the church crypt, including displaying the body of John Pitcairn, who might have something to do with Newman being replaced by a new sexton in 1788. William Dawes Jr. William Dawes Jr. was a Boston revolutionary and one of the riders sent out to warn Lexington and Concord that the British regulars were on their way the night of April 18, 1775. The other rider was, of course, Paul Revere. While Revere took the route across the water to Charleston, Dawes took the longer road across Boston Neck. He arrived in Lexington shortly after Revere did. Dawes was a tanner by trade. These days he would make a fortune in New Jersey. The amount of tanning that goes on there. And while he wasn't as politically active as Revere, he did wear a homespun suit to his wedding. Now, I know that doesn't sound intensely radical, but at the time it was quite a statement. At the time, the rebels were trying to enforce boycotts of British products like cloth and encouraging people to buy American. By advertising his suit was locally made, Dawes was putting himself firmly on the patriot side of the equation. He might as well have worn a Bauer hat and a mask with the king's face on it. Though that would have been weird at a wedding. Paul Revere's house. Paul Revere lived in this house with his family from 1770 until about 1800. With some notable exceptions, such as when he had to lie low because he warned the countryside of the British march on Lexington and Concord. Well, with the shortage of firewood in 1776 and the Loyalists' insistence on getting back to anyone who defied them in the past, you think this wooden house might have been torn down too, but it wasn't. That might be because Revere left his oldest son, also named Paul, in town to watch over the state. In any event, the building is still around today. One of Revere's descendants bought it in 1905 and turned it into a museum. It's now the oldest building in Boston. In fact, it was already 90 years old when Revere bought it. Colonial architecture is apparently superior to that of your average McMansion. William Johnson, updated. In case you're wondering, the official reason for Johnson's death was given out as a stroke. I guess publicizing that he was killed while threatening to murder treaty negotiations would probably have caused some political tension, to put it mildly. I suppose a blow to the head, for example, could be described as a very heavy stroke. Johnson Hall. Sir William Johnson built Johnson Hall in 1765. Well, I say he built it. He had more than a little help. He had 60 slaves to do the manual labor, making him the biggest slaveholder in the North. The property is more homestead than house. There was a swan mill and a grist mill on the property, and tenant farmers worked the land. The exterior is wood painted to look like stone, which is always a classy look, but the block houses you see on either side are actually stone, meant for defense. When the house was built, the French and Indian War had just ended, so it made sense to have the house ready for an attack. That, or William Johnson made some well-armed enemies in his business dealings. Treaty of Fort Stanwix, signed 1768. This treaty was meant to resolve the ongoing land dispute between the indigenous people and the ever-encroaching colonists. King George III had established a boundary line in 1763, but it had no basis in reality. Colonists were already living west of the line when it was drawn, not to mention the line wasn't really King's to divvy up. I'm sure that just slipped his mind. Kings can be notoriously forgetful, the poor darlings, when it comes to the rights of others. Members of the Iroquois Confederacy met with William Johnson at Fort Stanwix to negotiate a new boundary line on behalf of themselves and other smaller nations like the Shawnee. I use the term negotiate rather lightly. In reality, the Iroquois didn't have much choice in signing the agreement. It was give away some of the land and achieving peace, at least temporarily, or fight a long and drawn-out war. The question was only how much. When the treaty was signed, it was generous to Johnson, to say the least, even handing over lands the British had left to the Cherokee earlier the same year. In fact, the Stanwix Treaty was so controversial that the British-run Board of Trade ordered Johnson to renegotiate. He refused. Johnson made a fortune speculating on land. I imagine this treaty was quite a windfall for him. I'm just going to call it the Intolerable Acts. The Intolerable Acts, sometimes called the Intolerable Acts, were a series of laws passed by British Parliament in response to the Boston Tea Party. Among other things, these laws replaced the elected Massachusetts legislature with an appointed one, and closed Boston Harbor until the East India Company was reimbursed for the tea, which, let's be honest, was never going to happen. The acts were a major blow against Massachusetts' economy and self-government. The acts got their name because the British Parliament hoped that the crackdown would coercive. Okay. The citizenry into behaving like good little colonists and stop the violent protest. Lest the same thing happened to them. Unfortunately, the acts had the opposite effect. It made it easier for Whigs to argue for independence and difficult for the Loyalists to argue that Parliament had their best interests at heart. It seems nobody likes a bully. Coercive. Okay. Beaver. It's just a hunting thing. Okay. The Boston Tea Party. Tea chest destroyed. A most curious and remarkable event took place on Griffin's Wharf, Boston, Thursday, 16th of December. An assemblage of individuals dressed in buckskin with face painted in fashions of Indian natives convened at the wharf and proceeded to board the Dartmouth, the Eleanor, and the Beaver in orderly manner. These Indians, or perhaps no, as was the general dissentiment of those who witnessed these events, equipped themselves with small hatchets which they denominated as tomahawks. These ships held within their cargoes chests of teas numbering 300 to 400. The commanders of the vessels had publicly declared that if the rebels, as they were pleased to style the Bostonians, should not withdraw their opposition to the landing of the tea before the following day, they should on that day force it on shore, under the cover of their cannon's mouth. Once aboard, the presumptive Indians opened the hatchets and made to take out the chests of tea and threw them overboard, first cutting and splitting the chest with their tomahawks so as thoroughly to expose them to the effects of water. In about 3 hours they had thus broken and thrown overboard every tea chest to be found in the ships. During the time they were throwing the tea overboard, there were several attempts made by some of the citizens of Boston and its vicinity to carry off small quantities of tea for their family use. To effect that object, they would watch their opportunity to snatch up a handful from deck where it became plentiful, scattered, and put it in their pockets. Some of these same were met with kicks and hooting by presumptive Indians. Early on this day, there was a meeting of the citizens of the country of Suffolk, convened at Old South in Boston, for the purpose of consulting on what measures might be considered expedient to prevent the landing of the tea, or secure the people from the collection of the duty. At that meeting, No satisfactory answer was obtained. After inquiries were sent to the Governor Hutchison, and Mr. Adams concluded with the observation that the meeting could do nothing further to save the country. Beyond the chest of teas, there was no damage done to any of the ships. The destroyers of the chest were seen to sweep the decks clean of tea leaves after the chest had been thrown to sea. Sons of Liberty. Sons of Liberty was the name given to a number of protest groups that formed to protest the Stamp Act, and stayed together afterwards, organizing anti-British rallies and enforcing boycotts in the lead up to the revolution. It was like a friendly club for angry men. Although the groups would later become more coordinated, they started separately. Sons of Liberty was the usual choice for a name because it was a popular phrase meaning colonist at the time. As you might have predicted, given the name, the sons were mostly middle class and yes, male, merchants, lawyers, and politicians. Paul Revere was likely a member of the Boston group, to give you an example. The sons in all of the colonies weren't above using violence and intimidation to get their way. Who was? They threatened all of the stamp distributors into resigning, with the Boston group going so far as to destroy the local distributor's offices and parade him through the town before he quit in a very public and likely terrified resignation speech. Given that, it probably won't surprise you to learn they earned a reputation for being the radical wing of the Patriots, rallying the people and sometimes losing control of them. A public protest in Boston turned into an angry mob that burned the governor's mansion. Some groups of the Sons were also known to tar and feathers British officers and sometimes loyalists. You know, the standard good guy stuff. What a really terrific way to blow off steam. That's everything. Yep. Cool.
Directions, and we'll be done in no time. Go left up here. We will never finish in time if we go by foot. What are you doing? We will never finish in time if we go by foot. Is everything all right, my friend? Get back on the horse, Connor. No. Wrong place. Yes! This is it! This is the way! Excellent! We are right on course! Redcoats. What are they doing here?
They must be scouts.
Be careful, Connor. We mustn't let them warn the others. Go left up here. Excellent! We are right on course! To the right, Connor! To the right! Might be safer if we approach the houses on foot. This is it! You have got the right place! Let everyone know that the regulars marched for Lexington and Concord.
The British are coming!
Back in the saddle, my friend! We have more people to warn! Yes! This is it! This is the way! Connor? Is everything all right, my... friend? Did you hear that? Could be redcoats. Careful. Yes, this is exactly where we need to be. This way, Connor! Find a place to hide, Connor. Quickly, before we're spotted.
I didn't even trigger.
Left!
Open conflict.
Left!
Yeah, I'm freaking trying, but the fucking horse won't go across the ravine. Aha. Okay.
Oh. This way, Connor! Yes, this is exactly where we need to be.
Why do you have to be so loud? You are right near my freaking ear.
Be on the lookout for redcoats. Go right, Connor! Let us continue the search.
Pointing doesn't fucking help me.
Careful, Connor. There might be other scouts around.
Oh.
This is it. You have got the right place.
I was wondering why the fuck he was pointing.
Spread the word. The regulars are coming out.
At once!
Excellent! We are right on course! None of this looks familiar! We should dismount for this. Be quicker and quieter.
Fuck you. Yeah, it's desynchronized. Why did you have to start shit?
Near? I believe we are on course. Where are we? This is all wrong.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting for them to pass, okay?
To the right, Connor! To the right! Might be safer if we approach the houses on foot. This is it. You have got the right place. The regulars are coming.
Here, we're here. Get them!
We've got to shake those redcoats. We need to lose them. Well, I suppose that's one way to deal with the situation.
The fuck? Why aren't you fucking moving? Fucking hell!
Gotta shake those redcoats. Faster! We need to get away from them. If you insist on fighting them, Connor, ensure you win.
I don't. Yep. Fucking hell.
shake those redcoats! We need to lose them. That was much too close for comfort.
Oh.
Let us take care to avoid any further surprises. This way, Connor! Not here, Connor.
Yes, I know. Thank you.
Ah, no. Turn around! Where we want to go is behind us. To the right, Connor! To the right! Yes! This is it! This is the way! Yes, this is exactly where we need to be. Might be safer if we approach the houses on foot.
Hey, if you say so.
This is it! You have got the right place! Where the devil is he?
Are you sure we are in the right place?
Well, sure, I'm sure.
Oh. I'm gonna finish this mission and then end the stream.
Welcome to Lexington, Connor. Now let's find Hancock and Adams. No sign of Dawes. I hope he's all right.
Paul, Connor. Good to see you.
You need to leave. The Redcoats are coming.
Aye, so Williams told us. Let them conduct their little search. They'll find nothing.
You don't understand. Pitcairn intends to kill you.
I'm afraid it's true.
I suppose we have no choice then but to go. What of you three?
Dawes and I will continue on to Concord. Connor, it's best you stay here and help our man John Parker hold the town. It'll give us time to spread the word.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for joining. I hope you liked this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.